Part 131. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 1301. In the following week, Eva did not float far. This was mainly because she was impatient and did not have the patience to wait for the energy bar to be full before running out. As a result, she did not even run out of the forest and had to return to recharge. This went on several times. On Sunday, October 16th, she did not believe in evil and forced Xiaoming to miss the reincarnation mission. She saved up energy for 3 consecutive days, stored up energy, and then set off. She did not come back until the next weekend on the 23rd. In a world with sufficient energy, she can have thousands of clones and almost unlimited energy. Trans-time and space transmission of energy is no problem. However, in this special world where Orange Xiaoming reincarnated, she could only condense an energy body with all her concentration. Even the other Xiaomings in the Pangustar world could not get in touch with Eva. Of course, if she died, Xiaoming would definitely feel it. Now she is not seen alive or dead. We only know that she is still alive, but we don't know what happened to her. Xiaoming had no choice but to enter the reincarnation world and refresh the reincarnation disc. Only then did he force her back. Later, I found out that when Eva didn't have powerful abilities, she was actually a directionally challenged person. She kept wandering around in the big forest and didn't get out at all. This unlucky child. If Xiaoming hadn't entered the reincarnation space and refreshed it, she might have disappeared because of exhausting her energy. Xiaoming's reporter beast would also disappear. Even if Xiaoming cultivated the beast again in the future, I don't know if Eva would still be there. It's scary to think about it. Since then, for a long time, Eva didn't dare to go to Orange Xiaoming's special world again. In the past 2 weeks, some interesting things happened to Xiaoming. Let's talk about them one by one. First, the most exciting one. Green Xiaoming, who is in the private world Yu Hakusho, led a large group of people to participate in the dark martial arts conference held by the Demon World. On the evening of October 10th, Xiaoming and his group came to the gathering place notified by the conference, which was a seaside in the Demon World. This dark martial arts conference was held on an island not far from the seaside. They still have to wait for the boats arranged by the organizers of the conference. It's too troublesome. It would be much more convenient if Xiaoming could just tell the coordinates of the location and open a portal to go there. But they didn't allow it. They could only wait. Xiaoming didn't dare to force it either. Who knows how powerful the monsters in the world of Yu Hakusho are? It's better to be low-key. Unfortunately, Phantom Cat voluntarily stayed in the world of Star Wars. She can't participate in this event. Because she entered Xiaoming's spiritual world in the form of a soul and was taken to the world of reincarnation, her body remained in the private world. Now it should be considered a corpse, and Xiaoming absorbed it casually. After absorbing a complete body, Xiaoming can use the ability of a copycat to transform into Katie at any time. And use her ability. When Xiaoming and his group arrived, there were already hundreds of monsters waiting here. Since Urameshi Yuzuki and Genkai were the only 2 humans here. The monsters who were originally bickering with each other immediately shifted their attention. Hey, it smells like humans. He, are you here to be eaten? A group of monsters started to mock each other and discussed 365 ways to eat humans. Take a closer look at this group of monsters. There is not even a B-level monster. Even if there is a C-level monster, it is at the bottom of the sea level. It is true that the ignorant are fearless. Such a group of waste dared to speak nonsense to several masters above A level. Xiaoming and his group were too lazy to pay attention to them. Later, because they were too noisy, it hurt people's ears. Fei Ying released about 40% of his murderous aura. All the monsters fainted. They are so weak. As a result, the super large cruise ship that came here only took away the Insect King team. The other monsters don't know when they will wake up. After waking up, will they bite other sleeping monsters nearby because they are hungry? That would be too discordant. In order to prevent them from killing each other and devouring each other, Xiaoming was kind-hearted and decided to kill them all by himself. So he left behind a 7 stars shadow clone. After the cruise ship left far away, the 7 stars shadow clone released the third guard of the insect human race, the Cancer Gold Saint Seiya, Death Mask. After 10 years of training in the Star Wars world, his moves became more powerful and more unique. Corpse Chi Underworld Wave, a super large range attack, sent the souls of almost all the monsters present into the Kwafu underworld. Compared with the past, the characteristic of this move now is that it does not work on people who do not deserve to die. Looking at the corpses on the ground, the shadow clone couldn't help but sigh. There are hundreds of monsters, but there are only 5 who are not guilty of death, which can be counted on one hand. Death Mask's rules are basically the same as Xiaoming's rules. There are special regulations for non-human races such as monsters. If they eat 1 or 2 humans because they are hungry, it is not a sin. Only those who kill and eat humans at will even though they are not hungry are considered to be worthy of death. And these monsters have all done this to some extent. There are only 5 monsters who are exceptions. They are indeed worthy of being the contestants of the Dark Martial Arts Conference, Dark Enough. Of course, these corpses cannot be wasted, but it is a bit too tiring to absorb them myself. The clone opened the portal, and a group of Zergs came in and out. Soon, all the corpses were moved to the Zergs' territory in the demon world. Why are there still 5 monsters left? Are you soft-hearted? A voice sounded in the ears of the 7 Yaoying clone. The clone and Death Mask were both shocked. With their strength, they didn't notice that someone appeared next to them. This is simply impossible. Looking closely, it was a child floating in the air. Blue top, yellow pants, and a red cloth belt around the waist. He wore a blue hat that was several circles larger than his head. There was a word King written on the hat, and there were 2 English letters JR under the word King. Xiaoming felt a similar aura from him. This person is probably also a civil servant in the underworld. Although his strength does not seem to be strong, his realm seems to be no lower than his own. Are you, the King of Hell? The clone asked uncertainly. Well, in this world, I am called Little King of Hell. The original body in the real world should be at least at the level of King of Hell. Original body? What do you mean? Xiaoming was very surprised. Ah, you don't know. Could it be that you are the newly promoted King of Hell? No wonder. Let the senior tell you about it. It's like this. In the reincarnation world, if you encounter some special high-level roles, the space will generally arrange for a civil servant from the Wanbakian Sanjia. He will send an avatar to play. In order to be realistic, during this period, the avatar has no original memory, only the false personality and memory given by the space. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1302. The introduction of the Little King of Hell opened a door for Xiaoming, telling Xiaoming how the reincarnation space is set up in some reincarnation worlds with higher energy levels. It may be because the reincarnation space cannot create a god-level master out of thin air, or although it can be created, it wastes too much source energy and is not cost-effective. Therefore, for masters above a certain level, the space is arranged by the top masters of the 3 major forces of the heaven, the underworld, and the dragon palace, using clones to play. During the performance, it is necessary to temporarily close the memory, which is very easy to do. Actors who can modify memory and personality are definitely good actors of the experience school. When the reincarnation world ends, the memory of the clone will naturally return to the original body, which is equivalent to the master experiencing a training. It can be imagined that this is an n-fold magnified version of Xiaoming's practice with the shadow clone. The difference is that the shadow clone can only practice for a few days. The experience of the top master is the birth and death of a world. For such a good thing, as long as the qualified civil servants of the three families of Wanbakian will receive a notice from the reincarnation space. Whether the schedule is sufficient depends on personal circumstances. Besides, guys like my master Acha who have a criminal record cannot receive notices. Besides, what she wants to do cannot be done with an actor clone without memory. However, although Xiaoming, the king of hell, has reached the level of king of hell in name, it is a pity that he is a fake and does not actually have the real strength of king of hell. Even his underworld is not completely running smoothly. So Xiaoming himself guessed that this is the reason why he did not receive notices. In fact, it is not the case. In fact, the invitation of the reincarnation space is not only those top masters who can play the role of Tais Hanglajun, Yuanchi Tianzun, Zunti, Jian, etc. Masters of slightly lower grades such as Si Taming Yaksha, Black and White Impermanence, Liuding Liugia, and even low-level plot characters such as 100,000 Heavenly Soldiers and Heavenly Generals can also be invited to perform as extras. At this level, Xiaoming's strength is definitely enough. He has never received an invitation, not because he is not strong enough, but because he is too special as a VIP. Xiaoming is not the first person to provide energy seeds to the samsara space, but the person who has provided 3 types of energy seeds in silver, yellow and red in succession is definitely the only one, poisonous, of Scorpion Baba. For such an existence, the samsara space is unwilling to interfere too much with his growth. Instead, it hopes to learn some lessons from his independent growth. Otherwise, Xiaoming would have received the notice long ago. Especially since he already has the ability to split himself. He is a good material for group performance. According to the normal procedures of the samsara space, these actors will stay until the end of the world and then return to their original bodies. This leads to a question: what if the characters played by the actors are taken as followers by the samsara? Those top masters don't care. Plot characters at the level of Hongjun Taoist and Nuwa Niang will not be taken as followers at all. There is no need to worry at all. On the contrary, those low-level group performances are often taken as followers of the samsara. At this time, it depends on the situation. Some roles are played by the actors themselves, so if the actors are willing, they can continue to play the role of followers. Of course, the obligation of the follower must be fulfilled. However, most actors will not accept this fate. They will choose to exchange with the plot characters of the same level created by the space. Return to the real world, or go to a certain reincarnation world to continue to be a group actor. Some actors use their clones to play roles. In this case, he can of course choose to exchange. This benefit is always there. Or, he can also choose to temporarily cut off the connection with the clone and let the clone be a follower. The memory returns after death, which is also a good practice. Another situation is the problem of the private world. The reincarnation cuts off a piece from the reincarnation world as a private world. There may be some actors in this world. For example, in Sister Hung Cheo's Jia building, Kuang Tianyua, Ma Xiaoling, and others may have group actors. At this time, the actors also face the same choice, and the problem is still not big. The most difficult situation is like Xiaoming, who moved away a vast world. In fact, it is better to say that Xiaoming obtained the world of Yu Hakusho according to the rules than to say that the samsara space gave this world to him, a special VIP. He wanted to watch the excitement. In the history of the entire samsara space, this kind of thing has only happened a few times. There are many masters and strong people in the world of Yu Hakusho. Although they are not at the level of Laozi and Tongtian Jiazu, there are many very powerful individuals. At the moment when Xiaoming locked it, all the actors in this world made their own choices. Not surprisingly, for such an interesting thing, most actors chose to let their clones watch the excitement together. After they made their choices, almost all the clones of the actors erased the extra memories again and retained the characteristics of the characters in the plot. Among them, only one memory was not erased, it was the little king of hell. It can be said that he was given a break. Special cases are treated specially. The energy level of the UU world is very high, and the existence of the spirit world is equivalent to the fusion of the functions of the underworld and heaven in reality. The reincarnation space follows its own principles and cannot allow this world to develop randomly, so the character of Little King of Hell is left behind. He can choose to confront the world gatekeeper Xiaoming at any time. It is really shameless to say that Xiaoming is the master of the world of Yu Yu Hakusho. There are many people in this world who can kill Xiaoming. He is just in charge of the entrance and exit connecting this world with reality. He can only be regarded as a gatekeeper with slightly more power. The original body of Xiao Yan Wang is a real Dragon Clan strongman, and he is also a civil servant of Wanyun Palace, Bei's Hang Cliff, and Qianxin Tower. Otherwise, he can't play the role of Xiao Yan Wang. A few days ago, Xiao Ming took the position of Yan Wang, and Xiao Yan Wang began to worry. Once Xiao Ming chooses to connect his own underworld with the world of Yu Yu Hakusho, it must be connected with Xiao Yan Wang's spirit world. At that time, he must confront Xiao Ming. If Xiao Ming wants to take over the spirit world, he can't refuse. After all, this world theoretically belongs to Xiao Ming, and the other party, as the Hades, does have the power to take over. Xiao Yan Wang can only leave helplessly, and then he won't see the excitement. It turned out that Xiao Ming had already placed the underworld somewhere else, and would not come to compete with him for a while. The little king of hell was very pleased. He had a better impression of Xiao Ming. This time, Xiao Ming came back from the reincarnation space and had become a dragon warrior and a civil servant of the Dragon Palace. The little king of hell felt that they were colleagues, and he was in a high position in the other person's world. If he didn't come out and reveal the truth, it would be very embarrassing if the other party found out later. So, he seized the opportunity and had this conversation with Xiao Ming's 7-star shadow clone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1303. So, the 3 secret treasures of the spirit world. Xiao Ming seemed to understand something and mentioned something that had been bothering him. Xiao Yan Wang smiled and said, yes, you asked Urameshi Yuzuk to tell you to return the secret treasures. It was me who decided to leave the 3 things to you. However, I didn't expect that you would crack the secret so quickly. Now you are the Hades and the Dragon Warrior. That's amazing. Thank you. The spirit world of this world still depends on you to protect it. Xiao Ming's words were not commercial praise. He really couldn't take care of such a big world, so he could only ask Xiao Yan Wang for help. After all, the spirit world is an important force to maintain the stability of the world of Yu Yu Hakusho. Xiao Yan Wang also gave Xiao Ming a popular science about the composition of the worldview of Yu Yu Hakusho. The same thing was said by Hai and Kurama, 2 A-level monsters. But what Xiao Yan Wang said was more comprehensive, more accurate, and more credible. The world of Yu Yu Hakusho consists of the human world, the spirit world, and the demon world. But in fact, the demon world is composed of countless worlds. Its complexity far exceeds that of the other 2 worlds. The so-called human world is actually only as big as the solar system, and the stars farther away are just background boards. Each world that makes up the demon world is roughly a planet. Of course, some worlds are strange and not all spherical worlds. Moreover, there are not many demon worlds that are actually involved in the original work, so there is no need for the reincarnation space to create such a large world for background boards. So in the private world that Xiaoming really obtained, the demon world is composed of about 20 to 30 small worlds, planets. However, as a dragon warrior, Xiaoming can completely collect private worlds one by one, and then connect them with the world of Yu Yu Hakusho to create a huge demon world. The ability of the dragon warrior seems to be set for this reason. Regarding the human world or the spirit world, to be precise, they were originally just a tiny part of the demon world. The spirit world separated the human world and the spirit world from the demon world through the ability to set up barriers. Among them, the spirit world also invaded and governed a part of the demon world with lower energy levels. There are all kinds of monsters in the vast demon world, and there are also a large number of humans. You should know that most monsters feed on humans. The demon world is so big, and the total number of monsters far exceeds that of humans in the human world. If only humans exist in the human world, then the monsters in the demon world would have starved to death long ago. Xiao Yanwang guessed that the hidden setting of Yu Yu Hakusho is probably that in ancient times, humans and the spirit world united and occupied a small world by means of barriers. This can ensure that some humans can live well in the human world and no longer be prey for monsters. And the souls of these humans after death can strengthen the spirit world. Even the spirit world may be created by some humans who have gained powerful power. Because they were separated from the demon world, humans in the human world were able to flourish and create a brilliant civilization. Instead, it aroused the covetousness and hatred of many monsters in the demon world. This should be a kind of sour grapes. Because they can't eat this part of humans, they think they seem to be delicious. However, the barrier of the spirit world is very strong, and A-level and S-level monsters cannot pass through the barrier set in the subspace. In addition, there is another barrier to enter the human world, and only monsters below D-level can enter. The barrier is ineffective for humans and people in the spirit world. The combat power of the spirit world can deal with A-level monsters, but S-level monsters are completely unable to deal with them. So the spirit world can completely defend the subspace. And there are many psychics and spirit world detectives in the human world, and they have no problem dealing with D-level monsters. It can be regarded as barely surviving. If one day, the monsters master the method of breaking through the barrier, the spirit world and the human world may fall into disaster again. To be honest, the combat power of the spirit world is a bit low. But the original book is set up like this, and the little king of hell can't do anything. He now has an empty realm, but he doesn't have much combat power. The demon world originally had no order, with countless small groups, small countries, and small tribes, similar to the Warring States period when heroes rose. However, not long ago, the demon world underwent a major change. Due to the dispute between three monsters, the entire demon world was involved in war. Originally, it was just a disagreement between the three guys, and it was nothing more than a fight between three people. However, because these three monsters were so powerful, each monster had the strength to dominate the entire demon world. Their dispute involved the entire demon world. This statement is very similar to the dispute between the 12 kings of Dakin in the history of Pangustar, which involved all the countries of Pangustar. These three monsters are the ones that Feiying and Kurama have mentioned before: Huanquan, Raisin, and Qiyu. They are all top existences in S level. There are countless points that the three of them can't agree on. One of them is the attitude towards food. They were originally monsters who ate humans. Suddenly one day, Raisin probably had water in his brain, and he said, "We will never feed on humans again." Huanquan objected and said, "My stomach doesn't eat anything other than humans." The body said calmly, "I eat whatever I want, anyway they can reproduce very quickly." Because no one was willing to give in, the three forces formed a three-way confrontation in the demon world. Once a war breaks out between any two countries, the other country will benefit. Under such circumstances, the demon world maintained peace for 500 years. Omega, Xiao Ming was very upset when he heard this. These are not three completely opposite views. Huan Quan and Chu's views are obviously similar. They can just unite to get rid of Raisin. And Raisin's view is completely unreasonable. The three of them are monsters that only eat humans. If they don't eat, they will starve to death. Of course, other monsters will not agree to this. Isn't it sick? If you want to die, just die farther away. Why drag us along? Xiao Ming is really confused about the logic. It can only be believed that the other disputes between the three of them are also very big, which led to the special disagreement between Chu and Huan Quan. That's why the two of them can't unite to deal with Raisin. However, Xiao Yanwang revealed a top-secret news that the brain-damaged Raisin is probably going to starve to death. After all, he hasn't eaten for more than 500 years. Once Raisin dies, the demon world will inevitably fall into a war. This war might destroy the demon world. Whether the human world and the spirit world can stay out of the war is a question. Even the little king of hell has no script to read. He doesn't know what the future of this world will be. He has to worry about it. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1304. The three giants of the demon world, Huan Quan, Lei Zhen, and Chu, would laugh their bellies off if they knew about the worries of the little king of hell. The spirit world has turned all the monsters that it cannot deal with into S-level ranks. But in fact, even if they are all S-level monsters, their strength can be very different. The most common S-level monster has a demon power of about 10,000. However, the spirit world has no idea about the strength of the three giants. The demon power of the three of them is around 1.5 million, and this kind of combat power is not a simple addition and subtraction of numbers. 150 ordinary S-level monsters, even if they gather together, any giant will take care of them all in an hour or so. The ability to condense such a strong demon power in a monster is the most powerful thing. The barrier that the spirit world is proud of is certainly very powerful. But it can only deal with ordinary S-level monsters. Seriously speaking, the three giants actually have ways to break through the barrier roundabout. Even if their own strength is too strong, if they use all their demon power to fight hard, the barrier may not last long. Unless, while destroying here, repairing there. The three giants have their own reasons for not marching into the human world and the spirit world. The common point among them is that they all look down on the little territory and resources of the two worlds. Raisin chose not to eat people for personal reasons and starved himself to death. Of course, he would not march into the human world to harm humans. Chu has an indifferent attitude and even thinks that the current state of the human world is quite interesting. Since humans have developed a lot of high technology and a lot of entertainment programs. D-level monsters shuttle back and forth, naturally bringing these things to the demon world. It actually promoted the development of technology and entertainment in the demon world. Before the human world, the demon world was too chaotic, and all the monsters were in danger of their own future. How could they have the mind to develop technology and entertainment? Therefore, Chu felt that there was no harm in continuing to retain the human world. Huan Quan did covet the resources of the human world a little bit. But if he breaks into the barrier, his own strength will inevitably be greatly reduced, and he is also worried that Chu and Raisin will take advantage of the opportunity to enter. Therefore, he can only helplessly let the two worlds grow on their own. Occasionally send out some spies to keep an eye on the human world. Once Raisin dies, he defeats Chu and dominates the demon world. Then the human world and the spirit world will naturally be in his pocket. Huan Quan said he was not in a hurry, we can wait. Whether it is Xiao Yanwang or Xiao Ming, they know nothing about the strength of the three giants in the demon world. Only then can they discuss some meaningless countermeasures together. Xiao Ming told Xiao Yanwang that he also occupied most of the small world in the demon world, and his strength should not be underestimated. Xiaoming briefly introduced his own power. The combined power of the Zerg and Zerg humans under his command is already very large. It also gathers a considerable number of monsters and humans. The Protoss is a little worse. At present, the Protoss's base camp is placed in Kunlun, but Kunlun has limited territory and can only place some key Protoss buildings. The others can only be arranged in the core area of the Zerg. Under the protection of the Zerg, the Protoss has expanded rapidly. Even better in some aspects. The main reason is that although the Zerg has a large number of troops, there are only a few low-level queens. They breed low-level Zerg troops. Of course, the vacancies of middle and high-level troops are filled by Zerg humans, and the Zerg will not have a big problem in developing in this way. With the expansion of the Zerg fog, the knowledge and technology reserves of the Zerg spiritual sea will increase, and sooner or later they will be able to climb the technology tree. The Protoss is different. Hong Xiaoming has obtained all the inheritance of the Protoss. You can directly climb the technology tree. Now the intermediate troops of the Protoss have appeared, such as the Dragon Knight, the Templar, the Dark Templar, the Corsair, have all appeared. Advanced arms such as aircraft carriers, arbitrators, and archons require the Protoss population to continue to expand for a period of time before they can be produced. They need the Protoss to have strong Protoss individuals to build them and to play a role. However, the Protoss clones that Xiaoming has produced are not powerful enough. They cannot support these advanced arms or advanced war machines. Both the Protoss and the Zerg have developed well, which is a good thing. But in the depths of the Protoss memory, they are very disgusted with the Zerg. The Zerg also feels the same about the Protoss. Only the Zerg humans have no inclination. Currently, the Zerg and the Protoss are all under Xiaoming's command. They are unlikely to fight each other, and they will cooperate reluctantly when they should. But it's just awkward. The newly born Protoss express this feeling to Xiaoming through the mental channel. They are not human beings, so they won't hide it. The Zerg actually expressed it, but Xiaoming, as the overlord, has a stronger control over the Zerg. This idea can be suppressed. But it's not easy to suppress the Protoss in the same way. So Xiaoming decided to simply change the territory for the Protoss. Just separate the two tribes. A forced melon is not sweet. It should be a win-win situation, but it's a pity that they can't pee in the same pot. At this time, Xiaoming didn't know the famous saying, "You can tell whether it's sweet or not by taking a bite, why do you need to say it?" Of course, the distance between the Protoss and the Zerg will not be too far. After all, sometimes the support of the Zerg and the Zergmen may be needed. So the two sides took the form of back-to-back. Each side gave the other side protection and developed in another direction. Zerg humans work together with both sides. Zergs need high-level Zerg humans, while Protoss need low-level Zerg humans. This distribution is fair and reasonable. Zergs are an extremely aggressive race. Under Xiaoming's control, they have restrained themselves a lot, but the speed at which the Zerg expands their sphere of influence is still not slow. In comparison, the Protoss will be much slower in the early stage. Because the Protoss will not bring all the forces under its control. As long as the monsters or humans within the Protoss's range do not make trouble, it will be fine. The Protoss has no special requirements for them. They even take the initiative to teach them all kinds of knowledge and technology to improve their lives. This silent way of moistening things is very popular with humans. Monsters prefer Zergs more. Being ruled by the strong is actually a matter of course in the eyes of most monsters. Instead, they think that the Protoss is too weak. In fact, Xiaoming can see the potential of the Protoss. This is the way of playing he who wins the hearts of the people wins the world. As long as they are not defeated by stronger and more brutal enemies, this development method still has great potential. In this small world, the strongest and most brutal ones are the Zerg behind them, so the Protoss certainly don't need to worry about anything. Xiao Ming told Xiao Yanwang that he would try his best to develop a force, hoping to restrain Huan Quan and Chu after Raisin's death. Epsilon equals Omicron asterisk, alas, the ignorant are really fearless. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1305. If it were any other reincarnationist who had such ambition to occupy a place in the demon world, the little king of hell would need to be vigilant against him. However, he could rest assured about Xiao Ming. He was bound by both the reincarnation space and the underworld, so he didn't have to worry about anything that would anger the heavens and the people. At most, he would make a small mistake. As the king of the underworld and the dragon warrior, the little king of hell felt that Zhang Xiaoming should be able to grow up quickly, and hoped that by the time Raisin died, he would have grown to the point where he could affect the balance. Xiaoming also asked the little king of hell a question that he was very concerned about. That is, whether the Qin, Rat, King family could trace him back. For this reincarnation mission, Xiaoming took the initiative to request to participate in the activities organized by the Rat King Ji family. Enter the world of Star Wars. However, because he was carrying the curse of Kawashima Yoshiko, it implicated all the reincarnationists who participated in the mission this time. The Ji family was the worst. Although Xiaoming was one of the victims, it was an indisputable fact that others were dragged down by him. Xiaoming was still very uneasy, worried and a little guilty. After listening to Xiaoming's story, Xiao Yanwan comforted him, "Dragon warrior, don't worry too much about this matter. You are now protected by Jianxin Tower. The top family on a planet with a population of billions will never be able to track you down." Hearing this, Xiaoming finally relaxed, and Xiao Yanwan continued, "However, I suggest that Hades give that family some compensation." Xiaoming nodded in agreement, "Yeah, I think so too. After all, I also have responsibilities. I'm just worried that the other party will track it down through the gifts given, and then I will confess. It's okay, you just need to send the compensation in the name of the Dragon Warrior with the help of the reincarnation space, and I guarantee that they can't track it down." Xiaoming was satisfied and did it immediately. For this kind of thing, Xiaoming doesn't even need to enter the reincarnation space, he can arrange it directly in the real world. What is the compensation for the Rat King family? Do you still need to ask? It's naturally the Kyber Crystal series of weapons. I believe it must be very much to the taste of the Ji family. At the same time, he also brought a message to prevent the Qin Wang family from having wild thoughts. Xiaoming was very happy to have solved such a worry. In addition, before leaving, Xiao Yanwang gave Xiaoming some popular science and left a copy of the barrier technology of the spirit world. Xiaoming can use it with the barrier technology he has already mastered to complement each other. Develop a more practical and powerful barrier. This is a later story, so let's put it aside for now. Not long after, Green Xiaoming and his party came to the venue of this dark martial arts conference by boat, Xiaozhou Island. Not far from the island ahead, Xiaoming has already felt that there are two powerful S-level auras on Xiaozhou Island. This is something he never expected. The Toguro brother who came to invite Xiaoming before was only at the level of an A-level monster. Xiaoming was so arrogant that he thought Toguro brother was the strongest in the martial arts conference. But how could there be an S-level master here? After careful identification, Xiaoming found that one of them had a familiar aura. Suddenly, his eyes blurred and several figures appeared on the cruise ship. "Hey, Bug King, I heard that you will attend this conference, and my king is here to join in the fun." The person who spoke was Yuppie, who had not been seen for a long time. Standing next to him was none other than the Chimera Ant King Miru M, who was brought to this world by Xiaoming, his girlfriend Xiaomei, and another guard Aliapafu. Xiaomei seemed to have been transformed by the Ant King. Now she has the physique of a Chimera Ant, sea-level combat power, and seems to have good telekinesis. Such a good physique is also suitable for exerting the power of the white eye. At the very least, it can increase a lot of life. Miru can't bear to let Xiaomei die with a human lifespan. Seeing the king of the previous life, Neferpitou rushed over and hugged Xiaomei. This is the daughter-in-law she desperately protects. Xiaomei is also very intimate with Neferpitou. The two hugged each other as if two kittens stuck together, which is very pleasing to the eye. The Ant King and others greeted Xiaoming's subordinates. Now it is unknown how the chimera ants are developing in the demon world. It is estimated that it should be good. In Xiaoming's mental scan, there are far more chimera ants who came to the first hanging island than these four. There are also several B-level division commanders and C-level troop captains. A team needs at least 5 people, and the Ant King has to pull a few subordinates to make up the number. The news that Xiaoming was forced to participate in the Dark Martial Arts Conference reached the ears of the chimera ants. Miru naturally came to see. It is still very easy for the chimera ants to get an invitation. If Xiaoming encounters danger during the conference, he will protect the benefactor of his clan. If Xiaoming is not in danger, he doesn't mind a friendly exchange with Xiaoming's team. It's not just the old friends of chimera ants who came to the cruise ship to meet Xiaoming. There are also 2 others. One of them was Togoro's brother. He swayed slightly, as if he wanted to take a step forward to introduce another person to Xiaoming. However, the S-level master took the initiative to come forward and shake hands with Xiaoming. "Hello, Mr. Zhang. I am Senshui Shinobu, the new captain of the Toguro team. Please take care of me." "So you are Senshui Shinobu. I have heard of you for a long time. In fact, it was not long ago." Xiaoming just heard Xiao Yanwang mention this person. At that time, Xiaoming thought that Xiao Yanwang had gone off topic. Now he knows that Xiao Yanwang is introducing Xiaoming to the opponent he is about to meet in advance. That Toguro brother, he had the strength of A level only because of his monster body. And this Sensui Shinobi actually reached the S-level realm with a weak human body, which is really respectable and awe-inspiring. I just don't know why he became the new captain of Togoro's team. In fact, the matter is easy to understand. In the past, Toguro brother thought that he was very powerful and could beat Xiaoming's team. However, after he fought with Neferpitou, he found that the opponent just sent out a girl and knocked him down. This is not okay. So, his boss Sakyo began to look for more powerful masters. As a result, the big villain Sensui Shinobi in the next stage of the main storyline appeared in advance. In the original work, Sakyo wanted to open a big hole from the human world to the demon world, hoping to get enough money through the dark martial arts tournament. As a result, his ambition was destroyed by the team of the protagonist Urameshi Yuzuki. Later, this ambition was inherited by Sensui Shinobi. Another plot was created, and then it was destroyed by the protagonist's team. This is also a common routine in film and television dramas. In this life, due to his lack of strength, Zhojing looked for masters in many places, and happened to find a like-minded master, Sensui Shinobu. Thus, the Dark Martial Arts Conference saw the grand occasion of 3 S-level masters appearing at the same time for the first time. Will Zhang Xiaoming, Sensui Shinobu, and Miru have a peak showdown? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 1306. Shinobu Sensui, the former spirit world detective of Yuzuki Urameshi, has a strong sense of justice, but also a stubborn and unreasonable side. He believes that the existence of monsters is a sin in itself, and everything should be reset to 0. Since he was a child, he has had powerful spiritual power. Therefore, he is often sniped and besieged by monsters or evil spirits, and often fights many monsters on his own. Later, he was selected by the spirit world to become a spirit world detective. He once thought that he was a messenger sent by God to protect humans. He was merciless to monsters. 10 years ago, Sensui saw an extremely bloody and cruel scene during a mission, that is, some humans were cruelly killing some kind and harmless little monsters. This incident completely collapsed Sensui's worldview. He killed all the monsters and humans present. Afterwards, Sensui sneaked into the spirit world database and stole the videotape of the spirit world recording the dark side of humans - black chapter. He found that the humans he protected were the most cruel. So he embarked on a path that was completely opposite to the previous one. He wants to open up the passage between the human world and the demon world, and let monsters enter the human world to destroy humans. How to say it, this child is too young, his mind is too simple, and he always goes to extremes. Brain-dead children are happy. There are good and bad people in humans, and there are good and bad monsters. Isn't this a very normal thing? Humans certainly have black chapters. If you make a black chapter for monsters, you can probably make dozens of them. What should be eliminated is evil deeds, not a certain race. Sensui Shinobu is simply mentally ill. He doesn't even think about how many people have the ability to catch monsters and kill them. How can you define a huge race based on the behavior of a few people? In fact, Sensui's brain is indeed problematic. After betraying the spirit world, he actually split into 7 personalities. This is also unique. It was because of Sensui Shinobu's betrayal that the spirit world changed the way it chose detectives. No longer choose those who hate evil, but instead choose cynical people like Urameshi Yuzuki. Although Yuzuki has various problems and was a gangster who liked to fight when he was alive, he would never go down the extreme path of his predecessor. Although Sensui Shinobu is not smart, he is indeed a martial arts genius. Sensui cultivated the ultimate fighting spirit, Holy Light Air, in just 10 years. Holy Light Air is rarer and more powerful than spiritual power, and it is a skill that Huanhai cannot cultivate in his lifetime. Sensui can use Holy Light Air to create air steel fighting clothes, which surrounds the Holy Light Air around to form a set of armor to enhance attack or defense. It can even create wings so that you can fly. He will take the initiative to join the Toguro team just to realize the common ambition of Sakyo and himself, and use his own strength to connect the demon world and the human world and destroy mankind. There are only 4 combatants in the Toguro team: Toguro brother, Crow, and Wyuvai. Sakyo is just a filler. After Sensui joined, the number of people was just right. In fact, Sensui also knew that Sakyo was one of the people he hated the most. He often hired monsters and captured other monsters from the demon world to supply humans with slaughter. But Sakyo was a natural antisocial personality. He did that to gain huge wealth. After he had money, he wanted to destroy mankind, including himself. So Sensui Shinobu could temporarily tolerate cooperating with Sakyo. Ambition and Fukui Ice are really a perfect match. Xiaoming hated ambitious people like Sakyo the most. It doesn't matter if he wants to die, but why do he always want to bury all mankind with him? What a brain! Today, Sensui Shinobu suddenly felt that his dream seemed to be difficult to realize. First of all, the Chimera Ant team arrived. He felt a strong threat from the Ant King Miru M. Sensui Shinobu only barely entered the S-level existence, but Miru M has been in the S-level for a long time. The newly born Miru M is already on par with Sensui Shinobu. After a big battle with President Netero, Miru M's strength has evolved a lot. Afterwards, inspired by Xiaoming, he pointed out some of his shortcomings. After more than 2 months of training in the demon world, the Ant King is no longer the same as before. If the 2 of them really fight, the Ant King will probably beat Sensui Shinobu. It is amazing that such a master suddenly appeared. I didn't expect that before a day had passed, another one who was as good as himself would appear. So Senshui Shinobu and the Ant King ran to Xiaoming's ship together to meet the third S-level master. It can be regarded as a greeting in advance. If Miru M gave Senshui Shinobu the feeling of being powerful without any flaws, then Xiaoming gave him the feeling that he was bottomless and could not see the opponent's bottom card at all. Compared with Senshui's worries about gains and losses, Miru M's mentality is much healthier. He came here to protect Zhang Xiaoming. He is willing to fight with masters, and Senshui is a good opponent. Do you want to fight with Xiaoming? This is to be determined. Xiaoming is the most cowardly among the three. If you can avoid fighting, it is best not to fight. Safety first. After everyone met, Sensui Shinobu went to find Sakyo to arrange the schedule of the martial arts competition. A master can be killed but not humiliated. Since Sensui has determined that both the Ant King and Xiaoming are worthy opponents, he will not make the competition system very unfavorable to either party. In the original work, Toguro arranged a very unreasonable competition system for Urameshi Yuzuki's team. Urameshi Yuzuki needs to play many more games. Finally, he can fight with Toguro's team. But that was not to bully the Urameshi team, but because he felt that their strength was still too low, and he wanted to use this method to hone Urameshi Yuzuki and others. In the end, his goal was achieved. The Urameshi team was trained to be very powerful and defeated the entire Toguro team. This time, Sensui Shinobu planned to arrange a more reasonable competition system. Let the three teams fully warm up, and then have a big melee. Xiaoming and the Chimera ants have not seen each other for a long time, and the two sides naturally gathered together. Xiaoming shared the news he got from the Little King of Hell with Miru M. Miru M was so excited. He couldn't wait to meet the three giants of the demon world. He really overestimated his own abilities. At his current level, he would be abused like a dog. Xiaoming quickly grabbed this battle maniac. Even if he wanted to meet the three giants, he should let Pufu send a clone to test their strength first. If Miru M was beaten to death, wouldn't Xiaomei be a widow? You can't be so cruel. Seeing Xiaomei's nervous white eyes looking at him, Miru M was poured with a bucket of cold water. People with families are really not suitable for risking their lives. Xiao Pufu and Yuppie were also very worried about their king. Pufu quickly arranged for the clones who were still in the demon world to go deep into the demon world to inquire about the news. Because Xiaoming currently doesn't know which plane the three giants are in. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1307. Senshui Shinobu and Sakyo made very considerate arrangements for the dark martial arts tournament. The competition system was changed to a ternary system. Some of the human tycoons who disagreed with this arrangement, as well as their monster guards, were sent to see the King of Hell by Toguro's brother. The official competition had a total of 9 teams participating, divided into 3 groups for the semi-finals. The 3 seeded teams with S-level masters were in one group. The way of the competition was chosen by the players themselves. In the pre-match promotional activities, Sakyo exaggerated the strength of the Chimera Ant team, the Insect Human team, and the Toguro team. I hope that in the semi-finals, they will be attacked by the other 2 teams together, so that they can be a little more interesting. It seems that the current Toguro team should be renamed the Senshui Shinobu team. However, Senshui Shinobu was too lazy to change this trivial matter of the name. In the end, it is estimated that 3 seeded teams will qualify, and then there will be a big fight between the 3 teams. Decide the final winner. The Toguro team was placed in Group A with the Gorongzai team and the Kidu team. Under the situation of being surrounded and beaten by the 2 teams, Sensui Shinobu and Toguro brother did not fight, but won and successfully advanced. The other 3 team members killed the 2 teams. The Chimera Ant team faced the Utsugami team and the Rokuyukai team in Group B under the persuasion of Aoyapufu. The Ant King directly subdued the 2 teams with supreme deterrence. They will join the Chimera Ant Corps and accept the transformation of Chimera Ant. Yapufu is also worried about his own power. There are indeed a few of these monsters worth cultivating. In Group C, the Evil Ghost Doctor team and the Magic Master team fought against the Insect Human team. The 4 teams in Groups B and C have fought against the Urameshi team one after another in the original work. It has promoted the strength improvement of the protagonists Urameshi Yuzuki, Kawazano Kazuma, Hiei, and Kurama. It's a pity that they are useless now. The Insect Human team lived up to its name as an S-class team and won the victory easily. Dr. Yihan, the captain of the Evil Ghost team, is a researcher in the demon world. He developed something called blood-controlling tumor. Installing it on humans or monsters can not only improve their combat effectiveness, but also control their minds for their own use. What's more hateful is that the person whose mind is controlled actually still has consciousness, and will feel very uncomfortable about what he has done. This thing seems a bit like reincarnation, but the power is not a little bit worse. It is nothing in front of the Insect Human team. Dr. Yihan and his several evil followers were easily killed by Neferpitu, and their bodies were thrown into the territory of the insects. The blood-controlling tumor that controlled the 3 martial artists Yuan, Liang, and Kuei was easily solved by Kurama, and the 3 of them regained their consciousness. Later, their master who was poisoned and held hostage by Dr. Yihan was also rescued by Kurama. After being rescued, the whole family cried and hugged each other, and then they were all sent back to the human world by Xiaoming through the portal. Under the advice of Master Huan Hai, the demonic master team fought a round-robin battle with Urameshi Yuzuki. At this time, Urameshi Yuzuki was actually much stronger than the same period in the original work. After all, he often practiced with A-level masters in the past month, and his strength grew rapidly. Just before departure, Huan Hai had taught Urameshi Yuzuki the secret of the Spirit Light Wave Fist Spirit Light Jade. Due to the improvement of his own strength, Yuzuki accepted the enhancement of the Spirit Light Jade without much effort, and did not survive like in the original work. He only suffered minor injuries. With the tenfold tonic soup of green Xiaoming, Yuzuki's injuries were easily healed, and Huan Hai, who lost the Spirit Light Jade, not only did not weaken, but also strengthened a lot. I can only say that Xiaoming's tenfold tonic soup is really awesome. Yuzuki Urameshi, whose strength has changed dramatically, promoted to A-level, is no longer something that the demonic master team can contend with. They did help Yuzuki Urameshi hone his strength. Painted Demon, Frozen Arrow, Explosive Fist, Zhen, and Jiang were defeated by Yuzuki's fists one by one. Zhang Zhong and Yapu did the same thing and recruited these 5 guys under the command of Green Xiaoming. Faced with the end of being killed if they didn't surrender, the 5 monsters had no choice. Obeying the strong is the rule of the demon world. The 3 semi-finals made the audience very excited. They were originally very dissatisfied with the organizing committee's unauthorized change of the competition system. After watching 3 exciting semi-finals, they are now looking forward to seeing a fierce final. Contrary to most people's expectations, there was no big fight in the final, but instead the 3 teams fought against each other. Among the S-level masters, Miru M took the initiative to challenge Sensui Ninja. He didn't want his benefactor to be harmed by Sensui Shinobu. Of course, he didn't agree with Xiaoming's intervention. It was rare to have an S-level opponent, and he wanted to have a good time. The battle between Sensui Shinobu and Miru M was the real final. It didn't matter how the others fought. Anyway, they couldn't beat those S-level masters. But the fight between these 2 guys caused too much damage to the environment. They couldn't fight in the arena. So they went directly to fight outside the arena. The competitions of other team members were going on in the arena. Just treat it as a casual play. These people are almost all battle fanatics. The first battle, Wu Wei of Toguro team versus Yu Pai of Chimera Ant team. Wu Wei's strength is at the lower B level, how can he be Yu Pai's opponent? Yu Pai beat him after 2 exchanges. Seeing this, Xiao Yapufa felt distressed. What a good seedling for the division commander, Yuppie was wasted. After the game, Yuppie was severely criticized by Pufu. Yuppie just smiled and admitted his mistake, probably not listening at all. In the second battle, a new division commander of the Chimera Ant team was easily defeated by Feiying. Both sides are friends, so there is no need to be ruthless. In the third battle, Kurama of the insect-human team versus Crow of the Toguro team. This can be regarded as a fateful battle. Although Crow is a ruler-level monster that can control and make bombs. In the original work, Kurama was almost killed. But now Kurama is an out-and-out A-level monster, and it is too easy to deal with Crow, a B-level lower monster. In the end, Crow wanted to turn himself into a bomb and die with Kurama, but was instantly pierced in the heart by Kurama. He was just playing with him before. Kurama thought that Crow's bomb ability should be helpful to Green Xiaoming, so he put away the body and secretly gave the boss a snack. It's hard to imagine. Kurama and Hai are really geniuses among geniuses. More than 2 months ago, they were just small monsters, but now they are all A-level monsters. The little devil hidden in the audience sighed to Muten who came to watch the game. Muten stuck out her tongue and said nothing. She was mainly here to see Urameshi Yuzuki, and had no interest in Kurama and Hai. But when Yuzuki showed his power before, she was very happy. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 1308. Please enjoy the 6th game of the Dark Martial Arts Tournament Finals. I, the cute little rabbit, will be the commentator of this game. The two teams are Yuzuki Urameshi from the Insect-Human team and Toguro Brother from the Toguro team. Let's look forward to a thrilling battle. With the passionate introduction of the host, the little monster rabbit, Toguro Brother and Yuzuki Urameshi walked onto the stage from both sides amid the cheers and applause of countless audiences. Just before the two started fighting, a scene that had happened in the original book was staged. Brother Toguro suddenly emerged from the ground and wanted to fight 2 against 1 with his brother. This guy is much more annoying than Brother Toguro, and his personality is extremely cruel and bloody. But his strength is far inferior to that of the other team members. It's just that Brother Toguro's ability to survive is stronger than most monsters. Because he can manipulate his body shape at will, and he can also change the position of various organs at will. He can even transform himself into a weapon or protective gear for his brother to use. This is also the fundamental reason why he has always had a place in the team. In the 4th game, he was easily killed by a division commander of the Chimera Ant team. So he used a little trick to bury his body underground and slowly recover. After that, in the 5th game between Zhang Zhong and Xiaoya Pufu, he stayed underground all the time. Brother Toguro's behavior could not be hidden from the A-level masters present, but everyone was too lazy to pay attention to him. Zhang Zhong and Pufu really made friends through martial arts. Neither side brought all their bodies. Each kept a part of their bodies for the house. They fought casually and shook hands and made peace. In terms of strength, Zhang Zhong is slightly better. Because some of Pufu's abilities are actually strategic and cannot be reflected in battle. That is, there is a problem with the skill points. He is more suitable for the position of Chimera Ant's military strategist. Not a general who charges into battle. Therefore, it is very likely that Zhang Zhong wants to beat Pufu. Unfortunately, they both had similar temperaments and were not particularly obsessed with winning or losing, so they simply fought and ended up in a draw. These two battles made the audience very excited. Especially when Zhang Zhong and Pufu each used 3 clones to fight, it was eye-catching. It was not until the start of the 6th game, when Toguro Brother and Urameshi Yuzuki came on the court, that Toguro Brother emerged from the ground. He shouted loudly, "Brother! Use me as a weapon. Anything is fine. Whether it's a gun or a sword. When we brothers are combined, we will be invincible." I don't know where this guy got his confidence from. Hasn't he seen the strength of Sensui Shinobu? He is too arrogant. Toguro brother coldly spat out a word, get out. What, the brother was confused. Brother, don't get in the way, Toguro brother kicked his brother out from the ground, and then punched him out. When he was punched, Toguro brother's body turned into a pile of minced meat. Flying and flying, flying far away. In the air, a space portal opened, and all his remains flew into Guangmingding, and then fell into Xiaoming's stomach. Xiaoming is still somewhat interested in brother Toguro's special ability. When used in conjunction with Yuppie's ability, it should be able to play a greater role. Not to mention Xiaoming's behavior of taking advantage of the situation, let's just talk about the fateful battle between brother Toguro and Urameshi Yuzuki. Both sides are now stronger than the decisive battle in the original work. At this time, they are roughly evenly matched. Brother Toguro's ability is to control his muscles. He showed 80% of his strength as soon as he started. In this state, his demonic energy leaked out, and even the monsters in the audience couldn't stand it. Xiaoming raised his hand, Fangguiding Chuji. A square barrier appeared out of thin air, sealing the ring. Brother Toguro's demonic energy could not leak out at all. But the site was not blocked. The audience can still continue to watch the show. Toguro was shocked. He didn't expect that someone would use a mere barrier to trap him. He wanted to test it. He was not polite and punched the barrier hard, but it didn't move at all. In the past 2 days, Xiaoming has studied the barrier technique taught by Xiao Yanwang. Now Xiaoming's barrier ability is very strong. The barrier can withstand attacks that do not reach S level. Seeing that Toguro wasted a lot of demonic energy, Urameshi Yuzuki didn't want to take advantage of him. He casually sent out a spirit ball, which was also blocked by the barrier. Humph, Toguro snorted in dissatisfaction, well, we won't fight to the death, and no one has to go out. Just what I want. Crack, crack, snap, snap. The two of them fought with fists. It turned out that they were evenly matched. Then, Toguro showed 100% of his strength, and the muscles on his body were in the state of armor. It turned out that he didn't need his brother's help at all. Yuzuki also released the cursed spirit ingot that bound him. This is a way of cultivating spiritual power, equivalent to weight training in martial arts. The two finally showed their strongest strength, but the result was still evenly matched. But in the end, Toguro still lost because of his lack of follow-up. In the 100% state, Toguro is very hungry, and his body will automatically absorb the surrounding demonic energy, and even directly plunder demonic energy from other monsters, sucking the opponent into a dry corpse. However, this time, the ring was covered by Xiaoming's barrier, and Toguro could not get the replenishment of demonic energy, and became weaker and weaker. After being hit by a spirit ball at last, his whole body collapsed. Toguro dead. No wonder he was very dissatisfied when Xiaoming used the barrier. It turned out that the barrier blocked his energy replenishment. It seemed a bit unfair to die. But then again, that way of replenishing the demon energy should be considered a foul in a fair game. Xiaoming is maintaining the discipline of the Dark Martial Arts Conference. After Toguro died, his soul should go to the spirit world. However, because his body was too close to Xiaoming, his soul went directly to the underworld of Quafu. And his body was absorbed by Xiaoming, who was diligent in picking up and managing the household. Finals. The demon spectators around the ring were inexplicably excited. They kept clamoring to watch the final battle between Sensui Shinobu and Miru M. That's right, although 6 battles have been fought and more than 10 hours have passed, Sensui Shinobu and Miru M are still fighting. These demons are really unsatisfied. In the original work, they were almost all sucked dry by Toguro This life is basically a demon life. He actually wanted to watch the battle of S-class masters. he should have changed his posture to a better one. This is easy, I'll do it. A dozen Eva goddesses, wearing reporter uniforms and carrying cameras, showed up uninvited. One of them used his camera as a projector and connected it to the big screen in the stadium. The others all rushed to the battlefield of Sensui Shinobu and Miru M in an instant. Shooting from all angles without blind spots, synchronized with Eva in the stadium, and broadcasting live. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 1309. On the evening of October 15th, the battle between Miru M and Sensui Shinobu finally ended. As expected, Miru M won. Xiaoming originally wanted to admit defeat directly. If Sensui Shinobu won, he would have to fight him if he had no choice. It is estimated that with his own ability, he can probably wear him down. There is no need to fight against the Chimera Ant King. Xiaoming was still worried about what if Miru M couldn't control his strength and beat him to death? The Ant King expressed the same feeling. However, just as he was about to admit defeat, tens of thousands of monsters in the audience watched the excitement and shouted, "Don't be timid, just do it. You must be worthy of Sensui Shinobu. Insect King vs Ant King, whoever is timid is a puppy. If you want to fight, then fight. Friendship comes second, fighting comes first. Use your great power." Oops. Rightward arrow. Xiaoming squinted his eyes and looked down on him. These guys are just talking nonsense. The previous battle between the two S-class masters raised a lot of dust, gravel, seawater, steam, fish, turtles, shrimps, crabs, etc., which blocked the view. These monsters didn't see anything. Besides, even if there was a good view, the speed of the two of them was not clear enough for monsters below B class. Unless the two guys stopped to chat temporarily. Otherwise, these monsters couldn't even see the shadows. These monsters couldn't watch the battle between S-class masters at all, so what were they doing here? Those who really had the ability to watch the battle actually ran to the vicinity of the battlefield. They were watching the battle with supernatural energy. Of course, they couldn't get too close to the battlefield. Once the S-class masters went crazy, the A-class ones were fine, but the B-class guys couldn't stand being scratched. At first, Sensui Shinobu felt that Miru M's defense should be very good, just looking at the energy armor. So he transformed his holy light into an offensive air steel armor and fought against the Ant King. After fighting for a while, he found that it was useless. Sensui Shinobu's attack power is actually higher than President Netaro's 100-style Guanyin, but the Ant King is no longer the same as before. His insect cloth brings several times higher defense than before. This is a change made by Miru M in response to a problem pointed out by Xiaoming that year. As an S-level master, it is really embarrassing to be almost killed by a small nuclear bomb. Therefore, Miru M plans to develop a special mind ability to enhance his own defense. At this time, the advantage of Al Yapfu, the think tank, is revealed. In the process of contacting the insect humans, he discovered the good thing of the insect saint. It is a joint mind ability created by all insect humans with the insect king Xiaoming as the leader, integrating mental power, mind power, and microcosmic multiple supernatural energies. Not only can it greatly improve the attack and defense of each insect man, it may even give the insect man certain special abilities. However, slightly stronger insect humans all have good mind abilities, and the bonus to special abilities is often directly reflected in the original mind abilities of insect humans. The manifestation of Xiaoming is that when he uses the insect general star record, it consumes less and is more powerful. Only low-level insect humans are more inclined to be given some strange and bizarre abilities by the insect cloth. As Xiaoming's own strength increases and the number of insect humans increases, the ability of the insect cloth is becoming more and more powerful. Nowadays, high-level users can also integrate their other supernatural energies into it. Compatible and inclusive. Especially the birth of the third personal guard death mask, which means that the insect humans have officially broken through the order of 10,000, and the power of the insect cloth is no less than that of the Saint Seiya cloth. All insect humans know this, and low-level insect humans cannot hide their inner thoughts in front of Aulyapufu. So Pufu also knows the principle. Aulyapufu naturally thought that his chimera ants also had telekinesis. After coming to Yu Yu Hakusho's demon world, they also had demonic power. By combining these two supernatural energies, it is entirely possible to create a low-profile version of the insect cloth. This kind of thing that even Xiaoming can do, Miru M, a child of destiny, can indeed easily do it. In theory, the insect cloth of the chimera ants is a low-profile version, and its power is much lower than that of the insect cloth of the same level of insect humans. The only exception is the king of ants himself. Because of his own strength, Miru M's insect cloth is more powerful than Xiaoming's own. Sensui Shinobu found that under the protection of the insect cloth, his attack could only scratch Miru M's skin a little. On the contrary, he was more dangerous. In the case of insufficient defense, he would be injured if he was not careful. He was hit several times, but because Miru M showed mercy, he did not directly game over. So Sensui Shinobu changed his fighting style and changed his Kigongduyi to a defensive one. He only defended and did not attack, and fought against Miru M. By the way, he also exchanged some exquisite moves. Miru M did not bully him, and treated it as a game of chess. He did not kill Sensui Shinobu all at once, but reduced his attack power and focused on breaking his moves. This lasted for 3 days and 2 nights. Even so, their battle destroyed half of Shuju Island and deepened the nearby seabed by hundreds of meters. The earthquake and tsunami caused by the battle even affected places hundreds of kilometers away. Shuju Island was spared under the protection of Xiaoming's barrier. The monsters had not seen the battle of Green Xiaoming, the king of insects, but the barriers he used twice were really impressive. That's why there were strong calls for the battle between the insect king and the ant king. On the evening of the 15th, the battle was over and Sensui Shinobu died. She was not killed by Miru M, but died of illness. When Sensui Shinobu was dying, a monster whose beauty was no less than Kurama appeared. He was a monster with space-related abilities, named Tree. He stood up and explained everything to Miru M and the people watching the battle. It turned out that Sensui Shinobu's body was eroded by a malignant pathogen, and now it is devastated. If he was not an S-level master, he would have died long ago. Of course, pathogens that have the ability to erode S-level masters are not ordinary bacteria and viruses. Especially for masters like Sensui Shinobu who have practiced holy light energy, they should be immune to all poisons. Then again, the world of Yu Yu Hakusho is full of hidden talents, including the 3 extremely powerful giants. It is not surprising that some powerful viruses emerge. Shinobu Sensui's last words were, "I don't want to go to the spirit world after I die." Shu said to the little Hades with a gloomy face, "I don't want you to judge Shinobu by the standards of the spirit world. I will never give Shinobu's soul to you." 2 half-cut monster arms appeared out of thin air, tearing the space apart and opening up Shu's personal space. Shu took the dying Shinobu Sensui into his own little world. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 1310. From now on, we want to live in peace. We have had enough. Go find new enemies and continue fighting. Leaving behind an extremely annoying taunt, Shu hugged Sensui Shinobu and disappeared from everyone's sight. Finding enemies to fight? Isn't that what your Sensui Shinobu does? I stay at home honestly, who wants to come out and fight? Xiaoming thought indignantly. This dark martial arts conference was basically caused by Toguro and Sakyo, and Senshui Shinobu joined later. Only Xiao Ming's team was listed as a guest and must participate. Who is causing trouble? In fact, space power is just a piece of cake in Xiao Ming's eyes. He himself has two strange spaces, Guangmingding and Kunlun. After absorbing the body of the Phantom Cat, Xiao Ming's sense of space has become clearer. Now it is not difficult to rush into Shu's small world and pull them out. But why bother? Although Shu's last act of pretending to be 13 is quite annoying. It's not necessary to pull them out and kill them. If the two of them are willing to be otakus behind closed doors, then let them be. Xiao Ming himself is also a senior otaku. Why should he suffer for his peers? Later, Xiao Ming's anger was vented on Zhou Zheng. This guy is afraid of chaos in the world. He has done few good things and a lot of bad things. Before Zhou Zheng detonated the venue, a 7-stars shadow clone sent him to the underworld to accept punishment. In the end, the Insect King Green Xiao Ming fought with the Ant King Miru M at the request of the audience. It was considered the finals. Of course, this battle was a performance, just for fun, and neither side was serious. Although Miru M had experienced a big battle, he actually had a lot of spare energy. It was easy to deal with this kind of recreational battle. Xiao Ming summoned 9 7-stars shadow clones and used 100 styles of Guanyin at the same time. 10 large-scale mind beasts 100 styles of Guanyin appeared on the battlefield, causing an uproar among the audience. What a powerful move! Even Miru M was looking forward to it. He thought he could relieve the taste of the battle with President Netero. The result was helpless. The 100-style Guanyin summoned by Xiao Ming and his clones really posed no threat. And it was also very bulky. Even if 10 100-style Guanyins were on the battlefield together, it would not be of much use to Miru M now. The main reason was that the Ant King was much stronger than before. After fighting for a while, Miru M felt that it was not fun, so he took the initiative to admit defeat and stopped fighting. There was no need to be serious with the benefactor. Anyway, except for the A-level masters and Master Huanhai, other monsters could not see that the Insect King was actually at a disadvantage. Because the Insect King had many clones and 10 huge Guanyin statues, the monsters mistakenly thought that the Insect King was the more powerful one. What they thought, the masters did not care. As the champion of the Dark Martial Arts Conference, you can make a wish to the spirit world. As long as it is not excessive, it can probably be realized. Miru M did not need this wish, so he gave it up on his own initiative. As for Xiao Ming, he didn't really need it. Finally, I chose to make a wish to restore Master Huanhai's youth. In the past month or so, Huanhai has carefully taught Xiao Ming and others, and has really helped everyone a lot. Restoring her youth is just a small reward. In the future, if Master Huanhai has something to do, the Insect King will be there at any time. To be honest, this old woman has regained her youth and is really beautiful. It is said that she and Toguro were a couple back then, and I don't know if it's true or not. They look very compatible. The Dark Martial Arts Conference ended, and the monsters dispersed with satisfaction, and each team returned to their homes. Xiao Ming opened the portal and took everyone from the Chimera Ant team and the 5 newly joined members of the Demonic Master team back to the big villa in the deep mountains and old forests of the human world. Master Huanhai and Urameshi Yuzuk stayed in the villa for another 5 or 6 days before leaving. The main reason is that the food in the villa is quite good. Xiao Ming occasionally makes some source energy enhanced food for everyone to eat. The aftermath of the Dark Martial Arts Conference is still rippling in the human world, the spirit world, and the demon world. In view of the outstanding performance of the Chimera Ant and the Insect Human teams. For a while, there was an endless stream of monsters and humans who came to join the two major forces. The monsters also understand the principle of leaning on a big tree for shade. However, the two major forces did not get carried away by the arrival of many talents. On the one hand, they are expanding their power, and on the other hand, they are also actively investigating the three giants of the demon world. Zhang Zhong and Xiao Yapufa both sent intelligence monsters and their own clones to the depths of the demon world to inquire about the news. Xiao Ming's clone ability is good, and telepathy is an excellent means of finding out information. He can't be lazy about this matter. So he also sent 3 groups of 9-7 Yao Shadow clones, as well as a large number of parasites, to advance to various small worlds in the demon world. He learned the truth from the little king of hell that there are actually only 20 to 30 small worlds in the demon world now. This makes it easier to infiltrate. After all, the scope of investigation is much smaller. But what Xiao Ming didn't know was that although some of the demon world planes were called small worlds, their scope was really very vast. The area was even hundreds of times larger than Pangu Star. The 3 giants of the demon world were located in such a huge plain. It was not as easy to explore as he imagined. In the following period of time, the world of Yu Yu Hakusho was calm, and Lu Xiaoming basically had nothing to do. In addition to continuing to practice, his usual work is to go to the demon world frequently to disperse the Zerg fog. At other times, he fills in the blanks, fills in the gaps, and helps out. He plays Magic Planet games, martial arts planet games, and occasionally wanders around the Yanhuang 3-star system. Time flies by. Speaking of the Yanhuang 3-star system, Xiao Ming took away all the light spirits. As a result, the new Han Kingdom Space Army can basically no longer see the light spirits. Therefore, when Xiao Ming logs into Xiao Ming or Zhang Ziliang's body, he will take the initiative to release some light spirits to act. Let the Space Army not be so vigilant. Despite this, it is an indisputable fact that the number of light spirits has decreased significantly. The Space Army has linked this phenomenon to the aliens who appeared on the Quafu planet. They think that some mysterious events may have occurred. They guessed correctly. The alien refers to the god King Hong Xiaoming who once appeared on Quafu in the body of the Protoss. The reduction of light spirits is indeed caused by Xiaoming. Major General Lu Ziu of the Mizzou Research Space Station used various methods to study Zhang Xiaoliang, but unfortunately there was no progress. The Major General's hair turned dozens of white. At the same time, on the surface of Quafu Star, Lieutenant General Miao Qing, the person in charge of the Xiaopei base, was also troubled. But his headache was another problem.